so far? New coaches in here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different way of doing pretty much everything. It's a different program at this point. Biggest things, just the operations of everything. The way we even work out in the weight room is different. So from top to bottom, it's just a different place.
What made you, I guess, what were the selling points to come back for you?
I mean, I just love this place. So, I don't know, man. It's tough. Tough to say the exact, when something clicked. But just the way, I'd say Coach Smith and Coach M went about making conversation with me, conversing, whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, there were probably some things when you go in the portal, when you're going through the staff changes that you kind of have to kind of hit pause, but I would imagine, what were the biggest things that you heard from them that you're like, oh, okay.
I just liked who they were and how they were, man. I just like the whole mantra of Coach Smith. I'm not here to overpromise and underdeliver. And everyone seemed very genuine and trustworthy from day one. So I just liked who they were as people, and that's most important to me in most areas of life, people.
Talk about there's going to be some new approaches as far as O-line play. So talk about the differences in what you see and how you've been able to adapt.
Yeah, it's just a different scheme and it's different techniques. So we're obviously still not, all the way where we need to be with that yet. It's day 3 of spring ball. So it's just a whole different offense, whole different scheme, and different way to do pretty much majority of our blocks. I mean, of course, it's football. There's going to be some overlap with certain concepts or whatever, but it's pretty much almost completely different.
So talk about some of those differences that are noticeable, that we could see with the naked eye.
I think it's more just based on running. I'll say that it's more on running through people instead of just maybe traditional blocking as most people would probably think of it when they see it.
Just running through. Play that way?
I mean, I just like football, so put me in any offense, and I'll probably have fun doing it.
What are your early impressions of Aiden Child? I think you said he took some guys out to dinner.
Yeah. Early impressions of Aiden. He's just a good dude, and he's a funny guy to be around, and he's great for us in the locker room, and he's just a great dude, and I enjoy him. I enjoy his company.
How were those steaks?
They're really good. Calvin Brown's a good place.
That's fun.
You guys ran a pretty big bill for him?
Yeah, I would say so. I felt bad, man. I was like, dude, I'm getting the cheapest steak there is. I'm not going to do this to you.
You only had one steak?
Yeah.
All right.
What type of resources has he been as a guy who's had game day reps in this system?
Yeah.
How helpful has that been?
I mean, he plays a different position. So, Tanner's been more of a resource that I've been frequenting in terms of going and asking certain things about the scheme or techniques, whatever. But he's just a great guy to have around because he knows how everything's supposed to work. So just talking to him, and he's been super positive with everything. Obviously, there's going to be some lulls. It's a new scheme, new offense. He's been super positive and very uplifting with that, and just a great guy to have around.
With so much newness, how important is it to have some guys that have familiarity with the system, so you don't have to, it's one thing to go to a coach, but also another thing to go to a teammate.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's huge. Just having the guys that came over, Jack Velling, who lives in my building, and he's a great friend. Love that kid. He's awesome. Aiden, obviously, is our quarterback. He knows the offense pretty well. and Tanner, that's huge for our room, and it's huge for our team to just get those, head steps.
Wondering about, because it's different when you kind of come into a spring and you've already gone through a lot of the paces. You can't really build muscle memory and retention for something you haven't done yet, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at now.
This is kind of building towards fall camp in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and we've been building towards spring ball as well. So we've been doing OTAs and just drills as long as we've been allowed to. A lot of stuff just on our own as players without coaches. If we were allowed to do it, we were out there.
Still a lot more. How critical is that learning piece this spring?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's great to get the reps in live team periods against the defense. But it didn't start now. It started as soon as we were able to.
Do you feel like the drill work translates pretty well to the practice field? Like Derek was saying that the drills they do for D-line kind of move pretty well over on the field.
Definitely. every block we do in Indy or drill work, not in practice, is essentially what we're going to do in a game. And what we're going to do in a game is exactly what we're going to practice. So, if we're doing a combination block between the guard and tackle, it's the same block that we're going to see in games, and we're doing it different ways based on a defensive look that's different.
Does it feel less robotic, like watching it out there? Like even like that, it looks like when you guys are doing interior stuff, you guys are moving better together. It looks more like football.
Yeah, it's starting to gel. I don't know if I would say we were ever robotic, but I think we've always, at least the guys in the room, have had a great way of like just attacking and being intentional about the work we're doing. But yeah, we're intentional about the work we're doing, and we're happy and we're enthused and we love being out there.
Does it feel like a little bit of a new era in your room? Obviously, you have a new scheme and coach, but also, I mean, Nick played a ton of football. He's not here, and Spencer played a lot of football, and JD, as well. But those guys leaving, for you guys as the players, does it feel like a bit of a new era or turning of the page type thing?
I mean, new era. I don't know if if I were to be asked that question, would I call it a new era? I don't know. It's different not having those guys. Like I love those guys. They're some of my best friends that I'll have lifelong. I'm sorry about that.
There's turnover at the leadership. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's
Is
different.
that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's different. We don't have Nick, JD, and Spence. Those guys have been here for 5 years, so it's definitely different in that respect.
How about the difference between maybe 6 months ago with the cloud and everything that was going on? It feel a lot more fun
Yeah.
back to it right
Yeah,
now?
definitely. I mean, I've always been having fun playing football, even through whatever was happening last year. I was still having fun with it, and I know there's a lot of guys on the team that were. But yeah, it's definitely a lot easier for everyone to have fun right now.
I know you're only a few practices in and everything, but in your room, are there some guys that you're looking at right now you think, well, he could be,
Yeah, I think we got a lot of guys that are good at football and could play and be a big factor for us. If you want specifics, I'll say Christian Phillips and Gavin Brocious, Stanton, Lepo. I mean, Tanner looks pretty good. I mean, obviously he's been in the scheme for a while and he knows what he's doing. I mean, but yeah, and Baldwin, of course, he's been a solid guy for us for years now. And if I'm missing you guys, sorry. But yeah, there's a lot of guys in the room that can play and play well. And I'm excited to see them continue to develop and the rest of the spring and leading them in the summer and camp.
Coach M, what are sort of his priorities and main teaching points and things that you hear in your sleep, from him? What are his big things?
Get on your, get your eyes where you need to go and move people. It's just his main thing is just we got to move them. That's our job.
Last year you begin the season as a starter, and then you had injury and kind of on and off. Like, how difficult was it when you're trying to build on the next step being a starter and physically kind of just limited?
I mean, yeah, it sucked. I mean, there's times that I couldn't go. It wasn't up to me, and it was unfortunate. I didn't enjoy it. It sucked.
What was it? If you
I'm not gonna say.
Coach M seems like maybe fewer words when he's doing corrections. It seems a little bit maybe more positive, or it seems like like when guys mess up, he's kind of giving. It's more constructive with his instruction. Is that?
Yeah, they're different coaches, so they coach different ways.
But for some of the young guys, it probably maybe helps not getting
Maybe.
lit up.
Maybe. I mean, I never had a problem because I've been getting lit up since my coaches back in high school. They were crazy too. so I mean, I always kind of liked it, and I like both coaching styles. Do not get me wrong, and I think both are great, and they're just different coaches. So I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask everybody in the room how they would think about it, but I think both are great.
When you were in the portal, they kind of wanted to know about you as well as you know about them. I mean, what was the biggest thing? Or were you trying to sell yourself on them that you believe green and that type of thing? Is that kind of what they wanted to know you were all in?
Yeah, I mean, I told them before I even entered the portal, I said I was going to, but don't think that for a second I don't have a possibility of coming back. Which I obviously did.
Yeah.
I was just telling them we were really just getting to know each other. We barely had a conversation about football while I was up there with Coach M, while I was in the portal, and before that, we were just getting to know each other as people, and I thought that was cool.
Coach Smith seems like he's, at least from our end, he doesn't say a lot, but he says a lot, if that makes any sense. He's pretty direct with how he talks. Is that pretty fair how he works with you guys?
Yeah, he's a straight shooter. I mean, he's not going to beat around a bush or say something that he doesn't think is important or true. And honest. I think he's a very honest guy.
What did you learn while you were in the portal, just about how that process goes for people?
It's fast and it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and I don't know. I mean, I met some cool coaches and saw some great things and ended up home.
Did you end up taking any visits?
Yeah, I took one.
Okay. Where?
Put the past in the casket, man. Move on. no disrespect.
I like that phrase.
Oklahoma, though.
Physically, how do you feel?
I feel good.
Any-
I'm practicing. I'm fun playing football.
I know, but I know you don't want to say lower upper body, whatever the injury was, but is there any concern that could be something that could continue to hamper you?
No.
100%?
Yeah, I feel good. 100%.
guys good with Geno?
Just one question: off-season workouts. What's the difference between Coach McDonald, or what are some of the things that he's emphasizing with you big guys?
It's just a different way, a different strength coach is a different way of doing things. So, I mean, pretty much everything was different, and obviously we're still the same. There's some crossover, which being we're lifting, we're picking things up, putting things down, and lifting them. But I mean, it's just a different way of approaching it. So
Do you dive in with yoga? Are you pretty solid?
yeah, we've been doing yoga for years. So I like yoga. I'm pretty good at it. nimble fat guy.